go over to Kevin O'Leary. I want to talk about Kevin O'Leary because he was over there battling. I don't even know why they have Kevin O'Leary on the panel. There were identical twins that got different results. Really? I don't know why they have Kevin O'Leary on the panels of CNN. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's almost like he's trying to educate them and he's trying to bring them up to speed on what's going on, and they refuse to give in. But anyways, this is Kevin O'Leary talking specifically about Trump, the Qatar plane, whether or not they're doing deals. And I think that this is the biggest difference between a Republican and a Democrat. I think that conservatives and liberals are completely different, but a Republican and a Democrat, this is the difference. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This is Kevin O'Leary having a conversation on Abby Phillips' show, and whether or not it is logical or what Trump's deals were over in Saudi Arabia. Check it out.
Some of the deals going on right now: Saudi Arabia, 2 luxury towers, Live Golf Partnership, Qatar, Golf Club and Villas, UAE, luxury hotel, cryptocurrency deal, Oman, resort and golf project.
And the dinner.
I mean this sincerely. I mean, does it bother you that this is happening at the same time that these nation states are also trying to curry favor with Trump himself?
Well, it doesn't really bother me that people are in business for years, then their dad gets elected president, and then they continue to go on in business. We knew we were electing a businessman president. We knew his family was in business. So I think the American people have full visibility into that. Number 2.
We're talking about new deals here, not existing
deals. Well, they're business
deals,
people. They're cutting deals all the time.
You're okay with them cutting deals while Trump is sitting?
I don't like the fact that Abby Phillips is always interrupting before people can get 20 seconds of a sentence out.
In the White House when he's going over there
countries that
to
are
negotiate
actively doing negotiations with
We're negotiating with every country in the world every day. Well, let me answer your question, the specific criticism about Hunter Biden. All the things you just mentioned, towers, golf courses, hotels, resorts, tangible things.
Cryptocurrency
you do something. Money exchanges hands, a service is provided, a tower is built, a golf course is developed. Can you name one tangible service other than finger paintings that Hunter Biden provided for any money that changed hands?
I do think that is a fair critique of Hunter Biden of it all. But you're not addressing the fact that in all of these countries, in order to do any of these things, they have to go to the political leadership of the countries to get them approved. That doesn't address that at all.
Abby, at 10:07, Scott was telling me how the biggest modern day conspiracy we've had in terms of a president scandal was Joe Biden and his health. And he said that, and then he criticized Chuck Schumer, right, about the fact that he didn't have any character because he didn't stand up to it. But at 10:27, 10:28, the argument has changed, because what we do know is that there is a $400 million jet from Qatar. Well,
what? Did he just try to use Joe Biden's health, his ability to run the country, which is also compromised because we don't know who's really running the country, if Joe Biden don't even know his left from his right, if Joe Biden don't even know where the steps is to Air Force One, and people are saying, hey, the whole country needs to be concerned, and the people that are closest or have the most power in Congress, they need to bring this to the front of the congregation, because we don't even know if this guy got Alzheimer's, if he got dementia, or if he's even still there. If he's waking up in the morning, is he a Manchurian candidate? How is that even comparable? It's not even apples to oranges. It's like apples to peanuts. The Secret Service had to join hands to have Biden not go into the forest. Did y'all see Biden over there in the Amazon forest when he went to the G20 summit? That none of the leaders, the world leaders, they didn't even take a picture. They didn't even wait for him to come back to take a picture. They tried to get the word, hey, y'all, hold on. They said, no, we're going to take this picture. What Joe doing over there in the forest is crazy. We're going to let him go over into the forest. He was walking into the jungle. He got lost in the jungle. That's correct, Molly. How does that have anything to do with the price of tea in China? Oh, is this black fatigue? I'm going to start calling every ignorant person that can't make a logical argument. I don't care if you're Democrat. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're liberal. I don't care if you're conservative. If you can make a logical argument, then I'll give you credit. I don't have to agree with you just because you have a different opinion than me. But when you just say stuff just to try to say stuff, and then he gonna throw the timestamps in there at 10:07, like that was supposed to make his argument any better. Oh Jesus, Lord have mercy.
What we do know is that there is a $5.5 million golf course in Qatar. What we do know is what Syria is offering Donald Trump. And what we do know is that the things that are happening in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, buying meme coins that mean absolutely nothing. The fact is, and I would love for Scott to be able to answer this question, but for the fact, and that's when I didn't really do well in law school, but I remember but for the fact Donald Trump is president of the United States, none of this would happen. And so that is what you call a kleptocracy. And so when you have children, and no, and 1 second, Kevin, because you wanted to talk about Kevin O'Leary, you wanted to talk about Kamala Harris being mediocre. Donald Trump Jr. Donald Trump Jr. and Donald Trump Jr. and what's the other one?
Eric
are the definition of what mediocre is. And
I'm okay, y'all. Let me tell you what a strategy is that people use, and let me tell you how I combat that strategy as a master debater. I would consider myself a master debater at this point. What usually people try to do, and you got to identify it quick and you got to rein it in, right? Is people will jump all over the board and they'll say, well, let me finish, right? And the reason that they want to say, let me finish is because they want to talk for a long time about a whole bunch of stuff so that you can't really answer any of it. And it makes it seems as though they are smarter or they made a point when it wasn't relevant. And so what you do is you stop them and you say, okay, let's go point by point. Let's talk about what you just said. Because him saying, well, Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump or whatever it is that he's saying, they're mediocre. What the hell does that have to do with a plane in Qatar? Like that has nothing to do with anything. And they'll say a whole lot of stuff. And it seems like they're smarter than what they really are. You know, I wasn't really smart in law school, but I remember but for. Plenty of people do it. Y'all have seen it happen multiple times. It's an easy way to stop it. You stop them in the tracks and you force them to start substantiating their argument point by point by point. And then they don't have a leg to stand on.
What I'm saying is that now they are reaping the benefits of their father.
Different direction,
please.
Just for a moment. Please.
No, guide me. I'm blind.
What does this?
You see what Kevin just did?
Middle East policy, please. Just a moment.
Oh no! Please.
What? Excuse me.
Oh yes.
What does this have to do with the fact that he is trying to create a circle of friendship with the fastest growing geographies in the world before China does?
But wait a second.
Wait. Let me finish.
Well,
on this trip,
I hate. Kevin O'Leary is clearly, by and far and large, the smartest person, the most accomplished person, the most qualified person to speak on business subjects and money in the room. And I hate, and I'm not even, forget the business. Kevin O'Leary is the guest. He's the star of the show at this point. When he comes in a room, Kevin O'Leary, people want to hear what because they're bringing him in to be an expert on whatever it is that they're asking him about. There's other people that can speak, I believe, extensively on the subject. Is probably in the room, both from a conservative and a liberal side. But Kevin O'Leary is the person that everybody wants to hear. So when he starts talking, you be quiet. A lot of people ask me a lot of times, and they'll say, Anton, how come you don't push back on the guests that you have on your platform, whether it be Charleston White or Myron Gaines or whatever? And they say, how come everybody is just quiet and they're listening to him? Well, it doesn't matter if I agree or I disagree. I'm asking him a question. And because he's a guest or because he's new to the platform or because, he's speaking extensively, we offer more of a courtesy of them for them to be able to get their stuff off because we want to know what they have to say, what their opinion is. It's not about right or wrong. When I interview people, I ask them questions and then I let them cook. I let the audience, I let the people determine whether or not they agree or disagree. But the content, a great interviewer, a person that is good on the panel, knows when to insert themselves and when to remove themselves because you hear me every single day. I am not there to push back. I'm there to get different opinions. I'm there to get different conversations. Sometimes it's a debate and an opinion, and then other times you're there to hear what somebody else has to say. You have to let people talk and get their stuff off. It's a time. When I went on, y'all seen it the other day, when I went on Jason Whitlock's show, people on Jason Whitlock's platform is used to hearing Jason Whitlock talk all the time. Guess what? When he brought me on a platform, he let me cook. He let me speak as long as I wanted to, as much as I wanted to. He let me inject myself. He let me cook. You know why? Because people are not used to seeing me on Jason Whitlock's platform, and it turned it up. It turned it up. So he allowed for me the grace. He didn't necessarily agree with me on every single point, but he allowed for me to be able to get off my thoughts because it made for great content and it made for a more digestible piece of content that then entertained, and more importantly, the audience was able to digest what we were talking about more effectively. When I go on other people's platforms, they let me cook. When people come on my platform, I let them cook. And so when people come on that kind of sort of is the unfamiliar face, or they're the expert in whatever it is that they're talking about, regardless of whether you agree with them or not, you got to let them get their stuff off. Every time Kevin O'Leary speaks on this platform, the first thing that they do is they try to interrupt him. Yeah, I don't understand it, because it's almost like you can learn something from this guy.
Well, I just want to introduce an idea. This has nothing to do with policy.
Go ahead. I'm locked in.
What does this have to do with policy?
One thing that I've heard for the last 4 or 5 years is anytime anyone had any criticism of the United States foreign policy in Gaza or whatever, is that these people would be being paid by a resource-rich government that propped up and funded terrorism, which was over in Qatar. Mm-hmm. Every single time. They were buying influence in Ivy League schools. They were buying influence in social media. They were buying influence everywhere. So anytime you saw somebody
you want to push these countries away.
That you were saying that anytime somebody was thought to have any dealings with the Qataris, they were thought as being intellectually and morally tainted. Except the President of the United States, who takes a $400 million plane from them, literally is refurbishing it to be Air Force.
Who cares about the plane? What does that have to do with the fact?
Because it's
wait a second.
Because it's
you know what?
I
don't get it. Why focus on something that is irrelevant to the policy?
It's not irrelevant.
It's completely irrelevant.
How is it irrelevant?
Would you rather have the Chinese there? Would you rather have them there?
Kevin, the United States Constitution would like to have a word. The United States Constitution would like to have a word. That's why people care.
Yeah,
right?
People care
because the reason that that's in the Constitution is to prevent the President of the United States from accepting things that are being perceived as bribes.
What is the national
The goal of the trip is not to get a giant gift that he can say
the
belongs
goal
to him
of
as
the trip
president.
is not to get a giant gift. No, the goal of the trip. Let me tell you what the goal of the trip is. For all of the Democrats that can't see their eyeballs, they can't see what's going on. They're not able to pay attention to what's really happening when it comes to doing a business deal. The goal of the trip is to solidify a great relationship that would allow for you guys to not only prosper, but also pushes out and give you leverage when it comes to negotiating with other countries, because they then have to depend on you and your relationship in order to do business with the rest of the world. It gives them leverage and it prevents them from doing business with China, but instead choosing the United States of America. And there are ways that they then show their appreciation for doing business with you. And you have to be able to adjust to the environment that you're doing business in. You can't just do it based off of what we think happens and what we think goes. World leaders, the way you do business internationally, when I did a video the other day where I showed Joe Biden getting off the plane over in Saudi Arabia. They didn't even greet him. They didn't respect him. They sent representatives to meet with him. The president of the United States of America, they never even respected us. Trump said it a long time ago. He said, no, the world don't even respect us. He said, I'm friends with everybody in the world, all of the world leaders, and they don't respect the United States of America because our leadership is trash. When Trump stepped off the plane, they personally showed up. They had Tesla Cybertrucks over there. They had camels. They did a ceremony. They let him speak at the economic forum. They had, listen. When you're doing business, it's unconventional. It is completely unconventional. You don't play by the same rules that you play by here in the United States of America. When in Rome, you do as Romans do. They don't understand the business side of it.
That he takes with him when he leaves the office.
Abby, you have
That's
to
not-
distance yourself from Trump derangement syndrome. It's irrelevant to policy. It doesn't matter.
Okay,
What matters
Kevin,
is, why are all these AI guys
Have
on this
you
trip?
heard of the emoluments clause?
Wait. Why do you have
Have you
all
heard,
the leaders?
Kevin, no, seriously, it's a serious question. Have you heard of the emoluments clause? Do you understand that that is in the Constitution?
He doesn't know.
No,
And
listen,
do you
I-
understand that
I
even if you think
don't-
that maybe it might
debating
be
how many
okay,
fairies
it's
dance
still,
on a pin
it's
does
still
not do
legally
policy.
incredibly dubious.
So let me
You
ask you a
realize that,
question.
right?
So can I,
Hold on,
so,
but
I'm sorry.
hold on.
I'm
Let me
hearing you.
just, but Kevin doesn't operate by the same morals and ethics and values that we're
I'm
talking
above
about.
that. I focus
because
on
you're
policy.
so rich, you get to be above it. That's
It's
so
nothing to
lovely.
do with wealth. It's policy,
No.
policy.
No, but here's the point about the policy. Let me make one point, fellas. Whew.
She really been trying to get her stiff neck in there.
If someone is willing to take a $400 million plane from a government, that the kinds of things that Van was talking about, people have said, even Ted Cruz had some issues with this. What else is he willing to do? And Scott, you're talking about these tangible things. Meme
They're
coins
business people.
are not tangible. They're nothing. Cryptocurrency is nothing. There is a bidding war going on.
What? What? Do you see these idiots, these imbeciles that are literally talking and giving their opinion, and their advisors and senior advisors, and they're talking? Did you hear what she just said? Oh my God. These people are slow. They are dumb. They have no clue what they talk. Did you hear what she just said?
Right now, with governments and countries and companies, we have no idea what their alignments are to buy enough meme coins to buy access to our
There's a
purpose-
story tonight
That's
in the New
not
York Times about
ethical.
a very
Yo, listen. Shout out to all of the business leaders. Shout out to the people that are having these conversations across the board. I think that we are cooked with these type of people being the representation and the advisors of the people that we think that are presidents and vice presidents of the United States of America. Trump is winning. And like Trump said, we, the United States of America, they supposed to bow the knee. They supposed to gift us. They supposed to take care of us. They supposed to shower us with all of the blessings that come along with our presence and doing business with the United States of America. It's an appreciation.